welcome back to my channel. Chessie here, aka MissCheekyholic. So today I'm going to review the ANNECLUTZ Eye Essentials brush set, but this is not a first impression anymore. I actually filmed a video about this already, but I decided to refilm this because most of the brushes are goat hair brushes. And this is my first time, well, not my first time now because this is my second time to use these brushes. But the first time I filmed it, it was my first time to use animal hair or goat hair brushes. So I decided to do a comparison with the synthetic hair. So I have all my Colourpop synthetic brushes versus the Eye Essential brushes. So before I move on, I'm telling you all the different kinds of eye brushes and my comparison with the synthetic brush. I want to tell you about the packaging and how it looks like. Now for the brushes, when I bought these Eye Essential brushes, it came in this pouch. So it's a rose gold zipper with a gold faux leather. So there's the zipper, and then there's a card inside. So it has her social media details and just her logo right there. Now when I bought this and when I opened it, this pouch has a chemical scent. Now I already aired it out, so there's no more scent, but that is my first impression on the pouch. It was very, I don't know, it just smelled really bad. I did not wash the pouch, I just aired it out and it was fine. Now there's no more scent. Also for the brushes, when I received this, I washed them immediately because same with the pouch, it smelled really chemical. But it's okay because of course when you buy brushes, you really have to wash them before you use them. So it's really okay even though it smells so bad, because when I washed them, it's alright. It didn't smell anymore. Now, my only con about these brushes is that I did not notice it when I bought it and then I washed it. But when I was using it, can you see that there are some hair, but they're not shedding? I've already washed this twice and the brushes are not shedding, but yeah, I just have to cut those baby hairs. Another thing about these brushes, I washed them with a brush cleaner. I use my Daiso brush cleaner. I can't show it to you because it's in the bathroom. So I washed it with that and it was okay. And then the second time, I washed it with just soap, like a hand soap. I just tried because I was like saving my brush cleaner. And it was also good. So I'm very impressed because with synthetic hair, I have a hard time just using soap. You really need to use a brush cleaner to wash your brushes. But with this, because maybe it's goat hair, animal hair, it was okay even if you just use soap. From the 10 Eye Essential brushes, we have 7 goat hair or animal hair brushes, and then there are 3 synthetic hair brushes. So before I tell you my thoughts on the brushes, I'm not sure if I use the brushes specifically on how Miss Anne, because I watched her video on how she used it, but I did use all the brushes. So I'll explain to you my thoughts or my opinion on all those brushes. So let's first start with the E01, the Liner Brow Duo. So I use this for my brows on this side, and I used my Colourpop liner brush on this side. The Colourpop, it's more stiff. This one is a little bit soft, and I don't know if you can see this. It's kind of weird, the design of this brush. For the liner, I use this for my eyeliner. I use a gel liner. When I was using this, I like this for the eyeliner. Also for the wing, I tried doing a wing. I am not an expert and I really have a hard time using eyeliners. That's why I switched to gel, because like the pen, not the pencil, the pen liner, the felt tip, I really have a hard time, especially doing the wing. Now for the spoolie, I don't have anything to say about the spoolie because it does brush my hair. It's just a regular spoolie. It doesn't scratch my brow hair, so it's okay. But when you like put it on your face, because I tried to like do this on my lower lash line, it kind of scratches. But on the brows, it's alright. Moving on to the E02, the flat blender brush. For the flat blender, I used my Colourpop blending brush, this one. So it's not really the same, but I just went like with what's very similar to the goat hair brush. What I like about the goat hair brush is maybe the difference is that this is a little bit stiff when you try to blend it out or just use it as a transition shade. I don't have a lot of eye brushes in my collection. I always use my Colourpop eye brushes. But with this, because I wanted to compare them, synthetic versus the goat hair, I would go with the goat hair because it's softer. But this is actually okay. There was a little bit of a difference, but when you apply it, I mean with this, I have to build it up a little bit more because this packs a lot of pigment. But that's it. E03, the Tapered Blender brush. This is a big fluffy brush. The only one I can compare it with is my Tapered blending brush from Colourpop, this one. So it actually looks very similar. Now what I like about this is it diffuses the product. I use this to blend my eyeshadow. It diffuses the product really well on my eyes. With this, same with the E02, the only difference between the synthetic and the goat hair is that this is softer on the eyes. But again with this, it also diffuses the product, but this diffuses the product better or like faster. Next is the E04 rounder blender versus the E9 brush from Colourpop. So this one, I used it below my transition shade and I liked it because it's very precise. Like, can you see? So again, same difference with all the other synthetic brushes that I talked about from the Colourpop. And so far, the E02 to E04, they're not really that different, the synthetic versus the animal hair. The only thing that I can say is that this packs a lot more pigment, so you have to dip on your brush a couple of times with the synthetic hair. And with this, it's easier to blend a little because it's a goat hair or animal hair brush. Now, for the next part, this is one of my favorite brushes from the collection, which is the E05, the Crease brush. Look how small that is. I really love this brush. This is like one of my favorite brushes from the collection. Why? It is so perfect. So I use this for my outer corner and on my inner to do that a little bit of a halo effect. It is so perfect, especially for this, because the comparison that I could only think is also the same, which is the E9 brush. And with this, as you can see, it's a little bit harder because it's bigger. So I love this brush. I believe for an eyeshadow junkie or an eyeshadow lover, you really need this brush, this small crease brush. E06 shader brush, I compared it with my synthetic shader brush. The difference with this, I see a lot more difference because with the other brushes of Colourpop, even though they are synthetic, they're still fluffy. But with this, the shader is very stiff, it's very dense. This one is very soft. So I was, honestly, when I pat it on my eyes, I was kind of scared it wouldn't be like what I wanted, but I was wrong. I really love how this applies on my lids, even though it is a little bit of a fluffy brush. So I use the shader brush so that there's a little bit of blending. But I really love this brush. This is also one of my favorite brushes in the collection. Next is the E07 flat shader brush. This one, I use this for my brow bone and for my inner corner. With this one, there is no comparison because I couldn't find a brush like this in my collection, which is the E07 shader brush. Now for the shader brush, I used it for my brow bone. I really love how this packs pigment because you see my brow bone highlight. And I also use this for my inner corner and I did not have to wet my brush. This is what I like about the animal hair or the goat hair brushes, because with the shader brushes that they have from the collection, I did not have to wet my brush. Initially, with synthetic shader brush, to have that full intensity, I would have to wet my brush. But with this, I did not have to wet my brush. E08 angle shader. Oh my gosh! This one is like my favorite brush in the collection. Okay, this is synthetic, so I don't have anything in my collection that looks like this. I mean, I have the Colourpop angled brush, like the face brush. Like it's like a smaller version, but this, okay, I use this two ways. I did what Miss Anne did on her tutorial. So I use this here to put that brown shade on my outer V, and I really love it. I also used it to define my V. I love this brush, but oh my gosh, for the nose contour, can you see my nose contour, guys? Honestly, I'm not really good at nose contour. I usually just use my fingers and just do a little bit of this, but with this brush, oh my gosh, it is so perfect for the nose contour, for the bridge of your nose. This is like the best nose contour brush you can find, in my own opinion. And of course, yeah, it does work like this one when you do this to your brush. And also I use it as a V to define that outer V. For the pencil brush, I do have a Colourpop pencil brush, this one. There's really nothing much I can say about this brush because, okay, it does work. I used it for my lower lash line, a little bit of that red. I don't know if you can really see it. It's not so much like pigmented on that corner because I put mascara. But anyway, with this one, it is the least that I like in the collection. It does work as a lower lash line. I actually used this on my first video here on the inner corner. I like this more for the inner corner, even though I didn't use it now. But for the lower lash line, it's a little bit soft. Like, can you see? See? Unlike the pencil brush of Colourpop, the synthetic one is very stiff and very dense. So I prefer this more. But yeah, this works, but not as much as... It's not really like my favorite. It's like so-so with this brush. The Smudger brush, I use this one. I don't really know what, but it kind of looks similar. The E8 from Colourpop. I actually have a bigger Smudger brush, but I mean, I just use this one. For this one, yes, this is also one of my favorites because it is so small, but it is not that stiff. Can you see? It's not that stiff, but it does work as a for your lower lash line. Especially if you have eyeliner here, you can just smudge it and this works perfect. Now that I'm done comparing the goat hair brushes versus the synthetic hair brushes, I'll tell you my final verdict for these brushes. So for my final verdict, okay, for 800 pesos, this is 80 pesos per brush. The first brushes, which is the Ultimate Beginner's brush set. So I think, because I don't have that yet. So for that was 500 pesos. For 10 brushes, I'm not sure, but maybe there are 3 eye brushes. Like there is a liner, there was a blending, and maybe another one. I'm not sure because I don't have that. And then the other are face brushes. That was 50 pesos per brush. This is 80 pesos per brush. Now, those brushes are synthetic hair. These brushes are goat hair or animal hair brushes. So, but not all. There are 3 synthetic hair on this one. 800 is a little bit pricey if you compare it to the Ultimate Beginner set. Now, the pouch is very different from the Ultimate Beginner set because I think the Ultimate Beginner I saw on Instagram, it was like just a black cloth. This is, you know, this is better. You can wet this. I haven't washed this yet, but you can. And the logo is embossed on this one. So maybe that's why there's a little bit of a price increase. Will I recommend this for 800 pesos? Honestly, yes. I would still recommend this because for the pouch, I mean, it's really a great pouch. When you put the brushes inside, you still have a lot of space. So you can store, well, she said, Miss Anne said, you can store the Ultimate Beginner's brush set inside and it will fit. Or you can just put, I have a lot of brushes here. You can just put a lot of brushes and there is still a lot of space inside. You can also use this as your makeup kit. So yeah, I like the pouch. The pouch is very aesthetic. It's so girly. I love it. I love the rose gold. For the brushes, oops, not this one. I like that it's embossed. I love that the shade, I mean the code for tutorials. Definitely I'm going to use this on my other eyeshadow tutorials, but so I appreciate that there is a code and also the name. For the 10 brushes, honestly, this is the only one that I'm not really happy about, which is the pencil brush. The liner brow duo, it's great for the eyeliner, so I appreciate it. And also the spoolie. Her first beginner's brush set, she has the liner or the brow liner, but not with a spoolie. So she included the spoolie this time, and I really appreciate it because you always need the spoolie. So I like this, but it's not my favorite. But the others, when I compare it to my synthetic brush, there is a little bit of a difference, but it's just a little bit of a difference. So yeah, that completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thumbs up if you like it, and comment down below what are your thoughts on these brushes. Or do you think that it is worth it for 800 pesos? What are your opinion, guys? Because for me, yeah, it's a little bit pricey compared to the first launch, but I love them so much. I am definitely going to use this on my other eyeshadow tutorials. And also let me know, guys, if you want. I know it's too late, but you know the saying, it's never too late, because I really want to review Ultimate Beginner Set. It's a little bit harder to get, but you can get it from resellers. I want to compare it to my Holy Grail synthetic brushes, which are the Colourpop and the Real Techniques brushes, and also my Miniso brushes, because the Miniso brushes are a little bit pricier. So I just want to compare it, because from Miniso, side note on that, this is my favorite brush. This is, I think, 250, but I love this brush. Perfect for powder, for bronzer, maybe a little bit for blush. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on my next one. Bye! First, let's start with the packaging. Okay, I'm gonna... This one, there is no comparison. This one is like my favorite brush. I recommend this for 800 pesos. Honestly, I was...
No battery, please charge.
Sorry about that. That's my speaker. Anyway.
Power off.